They know I got them vibes, so you know them fans watching me.
They in my chat with the shits. Oh, they must think they can stop me. See, we got rods on the scopes. Now don't get sniped out the line.
Is not on me now. Tell me, what do you see?
We send the vibes on the nation. LIB and our blood. We in the sky with this shit. Just think it came out.
See, it's 99% cap, 1% gameplay, 100% vibe. Don't bring that bullshit my way. Try your luck, go against the vibe.
Let me
Where
teach you
from?
how to
You
vibe.
don't think on my grable the way I make them tighten up. You'll be lucky if you even score. You should read more, though I choose to live in peace. You should know I bleed war. I'm a recon man, one of the best in the sport. I keep a drone on my hip, I let it out to explore. They say the ops on the way. I see one, I know it's more. They just ran inside a building, my EMP gon' deploy. Make them panic, play support. Crypto going manic, they trying to figure out how I do assault damage. Real
Let me
just
teach
marching
you how to
surrounded,
vibe.
I know they can't stand it. Morosky sending out his ghost and they don't understand it. I'm headed to the high grounds to get
Let me
a
teach you how to
overstanding. Now
vibe.
you from a distance, see your partners, they done left you stranded. Damn. You know you headed to the lobby, right? Sorry for your awful fight.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Get you some practice so you always die. I know you doing that ping thing. They gone, made it out of sniper range. Level 1 knockdown shield. It's been 7 minutes in the fucking game. I'm devoted. Hit you with the devotion, hear it wind up, quick motion. Now I'm
Let me
headed with
teach
the
you how to
wind
vibe.
to your partners, but I'm focused. See, Goat just hit that beast on the hunt. Ghosts is ghosts, we reloaded, blow the EMP and we done.
They know I got them vibes, so you know them fans watching me.
They in my chat with the shits. Oh, they must think they can stop me. See, we got rods on the scopes. Now don't get sniped out the line.
Enemy is not on me now. Tell me, what do you see?
We send the vibes on the
Let me
nation.
teach you how to vibe.
Blood. We in the sky with this shit. Just think it came out the mud.
Let me teach you how to vibe. Let me teach you how to vibe.
Nano, what up? Deacon Loafing in the building, what up? Young Cole, Chronic Fan, KT2 the GOAT, Evan P, Lock Kick, #1 shoe plug in all of the land. Edward B, Javon James, Deep B, and we here. As promised, as told, everybody watching on Facebook, appreciate y'all being in here. God first in the chat, like, share, follow, comment, tap into the daily content. If you're watching on YouTube, podcasts go up 8 a.m. every morning. Picture in picture, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, react with us. If you're watching on the purple, if you're on Twitch, you got picture in picture, Amazon Prime. Once a month, you can sub to the channel for free. It costs you nothing. And then if you're not watching on those, you should be watching on Kick. No ads. Picture
Let
in
me teach
picture.
you how to
Up
vibe.
to 50 free emotes. All you gotta do is be a follower of the channel. And we do night streams on Kick and Twitch. If y'all miss out on us, like I said, you got the YouTube. You catch the morning condensed versions of the Shop Talk. And new for 2026, we got the vertical streams that's gonna be gaming on Facebook and YouTube. So a lot of new things. I'm always trying to progress. I'm always trying to get better. If you ain't getting better, you're getting stagnant, you're getting worse. Lady, once again, GG's in the chat to all the Saints fans. I'm gonna say the Saints fan base, probably the coolest fan base of all the NFL teams I've encountered this year. They ain't over the top. They ain't overly emotional. Most of them level-headed. You know what I'm saying? I think I had the best rapport with this. Shout out, clap it up for the Saints fans, man. Saints fans is solid, man. I can't knock y'all. Y'all ain't obnoxious like some of these other fan bases, like the or the. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying no names. I'm cover that up. Tim Escobar, 1976 days, 1799 days. KT2 the GOAT say, real question, if Derrick Henry goes for 4 more years, do you think he can break Emmitt Smith's record? I don't know about Emmitt Smith's record, but I know that he could be pretty much top 5 in everything.
Let me teach you how
I
to
think
vibe.
next season, if he plays and has a decent season, and he's healthy, Derrick Henry could probably like be in the top 3 of pretty much every category. So New Jersey in the building. We real, we don't be on no extra. He say F the Steelers. Let's talk about how Arthur Smith needs to go. No, my friend. Y'all told me all offseason the Steelers. Man, listen. Anybody mentioned the Steelers? My dog Yunko in the building. What's good, my boy? Mr. Miami. Mr. Yunko. Oh, he said the Niners do. Now, Tim, you probably missed it, but I did give some sauce to Kyle Shanahan because that weird ass swing motion fullback shit y'all do has some kind of way had the 49ers. I think Kyle Shanahan has done the best coaching job this year. I know they talk about Vrabel, they talk about this coach, that coach, Ben Johnson has did a good job, but Shanahan, with all the people that they lost, Debo Samuel, Talanoa Hufanga, Greenlaw, Charvarius Ward, Brandon Ayuk, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa. I mean, you just go down the line of all the people that they lost. You know, Mason to what they was working with most of the season. Mac Jones playing, Purdy playing. It don't matter who played. No George Kittle, Tongues, who didn't have a catch before the season. Like, listen, Kyle Shanahan, we clap it up for Kyle Shanahan. He definitely did a great job coaching this year. He's a play calling master because all his shit is like Shotbybuddha. It's like you watch me play. Every play look alike. You don't know like who gonna get the ball and where they're gonna go because everything look alike. Say Rodgers been doing as much as he can, like throwing the ball at Denzel Ward 3 straight times to end the game. Yunko said vibing them. I hope you and the fam doing good. This is just the intro. Listen to my intro. Listen to my intro. This just the
shit. Here we go again.
This is just the intro. We ain't even getting into what we really came here today to talk about. Yo, Mike Riley visuals with the follow. Appreciate you tapping in. Do y'all know why? Can anybody get the crystal balls in the chat? Do anybody know why we here today? Do anybody know why we here today?
Shotbybuddha Facebook gaming in the building.
Do anybody know why we here today? What I said, need that type of coach in Tennessee. That's asking for too much. That's asking for too much. Becker. See, on Kick, they got the original crystal balls. We got the new crystal balls everywhere else. That's the only way I could get my wife to interact with my stream is I gave her a sticker, and she didn't even approve of it. You know what I'm saying? That's why we here. Somebody give a cookie to my dog Deacon Loaf and resident Pittsburgh Steeler in the chat right now. All right, look, we here today because every day when I make my content and I go back through the comments, because if you a lurker in the stream, if you ever comment, I engage with all the comments, and I got so good at it that I don't even take it personal when people is racist, when people call me stupid and try to insult me, do these things like that doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to consider the source of the person who's dogging you out. So usually when y'all dog me out in the chat and y'all know nothing about the stream or know nothing about the content of the platform, I usually go look at your profile picture, and then, you know, I'm looking at cheekbone structure. I'm looking at the structure of your teeth, and, you know, how close your eyes is to the middle of your head, the symmetry. And I can start to see, is this a Cro-Magnon man? Is this a human being we're talking to? Or is this somebody who missing a few chromosomes? So I always try to do that, you know, to make sure that I know who I'm dealing with. Because some people didn't get on the big bus with the rest of us. Some people got on that compact small bus. And I'm not making fun of you if you are. I've just got so professional with this that I don't take insults to heart.
Let me teach you how to
He said
vibe.
Fernando Mendoza, Raider Nation. We're going to get into that in a minute. Hey, listen, Zay, this is what you need to do. You need to thank the New York Giants for beating y'all and putting y'all in position to lock in the #1 seed by losing it to the Chiefs next week. That's what you need to do. You need to go be licking the boots of the Giant faithful. Birthday tomorrow, Big 37. Happy early birthday. New to the platform. Appreciate the shout out. Yo, for sure. Listen, if you want to talk sports, you want to talk about movie, TV, lifestyle, and feel like you don't want to worry about the person that's running the stream, all in the videos. Don't read your comments. Don't answer back to the comments. Come on over to Death Row.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
He said, do you think Cam is our franchise quarterback? Let me see. Head coach demoted in the first month of the season. Head coach fired after week 6. Came off the bye. Franchise record in pretty much every category. Hasn't hardly turned the ball over in the last 2 months. Multiple touchdowns every game. Making incredible plays. Playing with a bunch of practice squad guys. Yeah, I think so. I think he's the franchise quarterback. I think it's pretty obvious. Now just imagine if he had a competent coach and talent around him this season. He'll probably end with like 3,300 yards or something like that.
Let me teach you how to
It
vibe.
probably could have been close to a 4,000 yard season if he had a competent head coach. And people got to go get Amy her. They got to go eat the crow on Amy, because I told y'all Amy ain't my problem. It's so many people dog Amy out, but she actually did us a favor by getting Callahan out of the way, because that would have further stunted Cam Ward's growth.
Let me teach you how to
You
vibe.
feel me, Nano? I don't know if I want to know what Buddha's first impression of you was. Man, my first impression of Becker was, I thought you came from Tatted's community or some kind of roundabout way. So I was like, probably a football guy. That's my first thing. Like, you gotta think, the OGs in my chat is like monster trolls, like Gaddafi in Comedy 2 Times, and like these people was people that used to be at my neck. I mean,
Let me
like
teach you how
at
to
my
vibe.
neck. So it's like, it's not like the people that first come in, like I take anything personal. I just got better at understanding that some people are only responding to you in a snapshot of something that they seen come across their timeline. They know nothing about you. So like, if somebody don't know my history or my background, I have people commenting thinking that I'm a Saints fan. I'm like, no, like, how could you get Saints from me? You know what I'm saying? So then I have to put in the context, like, somebody just seen Saints come across their timeline and thought I was a Saints fan.
Let me teach you
And
how to
they're
vibe.
attacking me because of that. Like, you have to just be able to take it all with a grain of salt and learn how to interact with people to
Let
the
me
point
teach you how to
that a
vibe.
troll becomes a fan. Knicks, Pelicans, I ain't into basketball. I ain't gonna lie to you. Not no more. The fact that we had QBs not putting up points for 3/4 of the whole game. If people other like War Sanders Pennies, they can't play. Me, we not worried about that. Greenskins in the building. What's popping, my boy? Hope everything good. Hope the fam is doing well. Love and light. Impulse on the red app. Vance is Ghost Rider. Been a minute. Man, look, we get some oldies but some goodies, man. I think this is a daytime. Dragon Stickers in the chat. My dog Zay with the 500 star. He said 5 years later, still top, love to see it. Yo, Andrew, we still here. We still alive, man. Dad time on 30, but we said Terrence Green, what up? He said becoming a Tyler
Let me
Shuck
teach
fan
you
though.
how to vibe.
Bro, I'm not a Tyler Shuck fan. I gotta give respect where respect is due, because a lot of people dogged out Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore has turned the Saints in the right direction. I knew he was a good offensive play caller. Look at the Eagles offense now that Kellen Moore is gone. And Tyler Shuck was supposed to be the most NFL ready QB coming out of the draft. I didn't think that Spencer Rattler was necessarily playing bad throughout the season. I just knew
Let
he
me
wasn't
teach
the
you how to
future
vibe.
of the Saints. And Tyler Shuck has taken the tutelage of Kellen Moore. And all I can think about when I
Let
see
me
Tyler
teach you
Shuck
how
is,
to vibe.
man, what if the Titans had a play caller like that? That knew how to dial up plays where people were open. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if we had a Chris Olave, 1,000-yard receiver? Man, I was kind of jealous. You know what I'm saying? If Buddha don't constantly call you out in the stream, you don't know you. Finally get to
Let me
catch
teach you
live.
how to vibe.
It's because, like, man, I've been so busy that I'm dedicating myself to getting the offline content down. So I be streaming mostly late nights. But now, you know what I'm saying? I get a chance to pop in and, you know what I'm saying? Throw a little daytime action. We in here. Kenny Dub, Jimmy Dukes, Robert S., And just think about the energy level that I have when it ain't at the end of the night, when I'm tired. Is all is well, right back at you for sure. Them man, talk about the mighty have fallen. That's why I don't get so hype off of saying, oh, this person is bad or this person is good after one season or half a season or a small sample size. The Commanders and Jaden Daniels was a unicorn last year, NFC Championship. This year they come back injury ridden. They're gonna have a top 5 draft pick in this draft. Who could have guessed the Commanders having a top 5 draft pick this season and the Chiefs not making the playoffs, right? To flip around on top of that, a 3-win team like the Patriots picking 5th in the draft to winning a division over the Buffalo Bills, to the Bears getting Ben Johnson, going from one of the top draft picks last year to winning the North. Like all the things that happened, from Micah Parsons to the Packers to getting hurt to the things that the Dallas Cowboys, the moves they made to still miss the playoffs. You just look around the league and see how many teams flip-flop and flipping and flopping and flipping and flopping and turning around and saying, like, all it takes is get the right coach, have a good offseason, have a good draft. You could be good. You know, like one thing could go wrong. You could be a team that went from up here to down here. That's the parity in the NFL. So that gives me some hope that Chad Brinker, Mike Bergonzi hires the right coach. They make the right moves in free agency and they make the right picks in the draft. Because coming into the draft, everybody said the Titans gotta pick Abdul Carter. They're gonna be stupid if they do anything else. And then James Pierce Jr. has double-digit sack year for the Falcons. Like it's like you don't know what's gonna happen until you let it play itself out. But you gotta consistently make the right moves. He said just some love from Merry Christmas. Let me see what he's talking about. Yo. Blah, 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 blah. Yo, my dog Impost with the $5 Cash App direct dono. Drop them dragon stickers in the chat. Oh, let's see. Tory Lanez has all the chicks. Hey, we was listening to it last night. Where was you at, Zay? What was your ears at? It said Ravens or Steelers odds to beat Houston. Listen, man, the Ravens Steelers is gonna be a movie Sunday. Ravens Steelers gonna be a movie Sunday for the division. They say not more busy than me. Hey, look, we can take a poll on that. Listen, that 4-year-old I got, boy, she don't let you sleep. That's all I'm gonna say. And she be crashing out. He said, I feel you. Mornings be moving. Chaz, what's good? I'm a Chiefs fan. Be easy. I actually like Patrick Mahomes is like one of my favorite players of all time though. So I don't never knock the Chiefs. And I'm a Titan fan. We a small fan base. So if you notice, most of my chat is like not Titan fans. They're like fans of other Statman, what up? The Jags first year coach. Yeah, Liam Cohen. No Travis Hunter, no Brian Thomas Jr. Making the trade, getting what's the slot receiver from the Raiders? I can't think of his name right now. It's gonna hit me in a second. Jacoby Myers coming over and the Jags getting it done, winning some big games with Sunshine. Jermaine, what up? Brian Callahan been gone, Mike McCoy, and them boys have got a lot better. Now this is one thing we got to do. Mike McCoy put in a very tough situation. We all like give Mike McCoy shit, but Titan fan base, we got to clap it up. Mike McCoy has rallied the troops. One thing is there might be talent deficient. They might not do what we want them to do. They might not win a lot of games, but Mike McCoy has made this team continue to play. And he was a better coach for the Titans than Brian Callahan in the way he ran things. So much though that you got a 4th round rookie to the Pro Bowl, and you got Jeffrey Simmons to have career records and probably have his best season as a pro, which is crazy. So we do have to give Mike McCoy his flowers. TJ, what up? He said Texans dog walking either Steelers, O-line trash, and Lamar not healthy. Hey, we have to see when we get there. I mean, I'm not betting against the Texans defense, but I will say like this is the NFL playoffs is wide open. Panthers or Bucks on Sunday, another movie. I'd like to see the Panthers win. I mean, the Bucks been beat up all year. I mean, the Panthers have built the way I want the Titans to build in the receiver department. I mean, they got dunkers everywhere. Troy McMillan, Leggett, Coker. They got dunkers out there. Like that's what I want the Titans to get for Cam Ward. Stop listening to these nice guys that are so smart in the chat telling us that we need to spend $30 million on a right guard before we need the cornerbacks and edge. We about to get into the real meat of this pod today. Seahawks got a game against the Niners. It's gonna be some movies made this weekend. It's some good football. Oh, for sure. Stranger Things was good. Think about restarting. You need to watch Stranger Things. Look, if you was born in the 80s, if you was a nerd, if you into sci-fi, if you into government conspiracies, you like weird shit, you should watch Stranger Things like Shotbybuddha. I'm addicted to this show. Don't think the Patriots are that good. Had the easy schedule in the league, but Drake May has December, which means there's matters the most. So there's that. One thing about it is like they're a well-coached football team. They stop the run, they run the football, and Drake May is efficient. When you look at Drake May's numbers, it's not like he's throwing the ball 50 times. It's 21 to 23. It's 25 or 28. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's efficient football that Mike Vrabel is gonna bring. And it's wide open this year when it comes to the playoffs. Said it would happen. 8-1 start was just an anomaly. I think y'all just ran into some bad situations. I mean, like your quarterback broke his leg. Just like it just seemed like it imploded. But I think at one point they had to remember that Jonathan Taylor is the key. I think a few games y'all threw away not realizing like you just got to force feed Jonathan Taylor. The Ravens do the same thing that y'all do. Derrick Henry last week runs a touchdown. There's 10 minutes left. He don't touch the ball the rest of the game. They lose. Next week, they force feed Derrick Henry and get 4 touchdowns and they win the game. Like sometimes I think teams get outside themselves and not remembering like to come with the girl that you came to the dance with. You gotta leave with the girl you came. It don't matter who look cute at the bar. Like you gotta leave with the girl you came to the dance with. He said, by the way, I sent a dono. Hold up. Boy, I don't even know what this is. My dog Deacon loafing with the $4 Cashapp dragon stickers in the chat. Bro, what is this? Let's see. I want the Steelers to tank so we can get that draft. Hey, listen, TJ, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go over there to Heinz Field. I want you to go and talk to Mike Tomlin. I want you to tell Mike Tomlin, hey, bro, I want you to lose Sunday. Hold on 1 second. He said wide receivers before O-line. I mean, like, all right, let me get into the meat and potatoes of why we here before we get sidetracked. Listen, let me show y'all something. I'm a big visual guy. Y'all, do y'all see this? This is an $82 million left tackle. This is a top 10 overall pick at left guard who's going to get extended next year, who's our best O-lineman. This is a $60 million center. This is a 5th round draft pick, right guard / center from last year, Jackson Slater, that they've been grooming. That's sitting behind Cushenberry and Zietler right now. Zietler will not be there in the offseason. We spent $9 million at right guard. And here's JC Latham a top 10 overall pick in the NFL draft. Now, in what world are we sitting here saying the first thing we need to do in the offseason after having that much invested into the offensive line is saying we need to call Wyatt Teller, the best right guard in free agency this upcoming season, and say, hey, look, we got $20 million for you to replace Kevin Zeitler. Now, I know we didn't give Nate Davis $10 million. He went to the Bears. I know we only spent $4 million on Danny Brunskill the year after that and had Dylan Radins playing that way. But we want to give Wyatt Teller $20 million, leave that 3-win football team you own, the Browns, and come to another 3-win football team. I promise you, bro, we're going to give you $20 million instead of blocking for Judkins and Sampson. You're going to block for Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears. How does that sound? Do you want to leave Cleveland to come to Nashville, Wyatt Teller, to end your career? Outside of that, like, bro, like, what are we talking about? The best offensive lines in the NFL, the Eagles, the Niners, they get them through the draft. You draft your line, you groom these guys. It don't matter if they're a second round pick, a first round pick, a third round pick. You draft your offensive line. Like, why is the first thing we thinking about is a right guard? Like, why? Why is the first thing we thinking about a right guard? Let me show y'all something. Let me show y'all what we should be worried about. Let me show you. You see this? L'Jarius Sneed indicted, alleged drive-by shooting. You see what would have been right corner? Chidobe Awuzie. He's playing for the Baltimore Ravens. We paid him $7.5 million to go play in Baltimore. Who is right here at corner? Jarvis Brownlee Jr. He's on the Jets. Who is right there at corner? Roger McCreary. He's on the Rams. Who is right here at corner? Marcus Harris. He's on IR. Who's the next man? Who's number 6? Darrell Baker Jr. off the Colts, a waiver guy. Who was number 7? Womack, a Colts waiver guy. He got cut. Who's number 8? Jalen Armour Davis.
Let me teach you how
a
to
waiver
vibe.
guy off the Ravens, who they cut to sign Cheeto. Who's number 9? It's Kyrie Long, cut off the Cowboys, another waiver wire guy. So we're on cornerback number 10 right now, Kamon Hall, who got dunked on all Sunday by Chris Olave. Do you know what the game plan for Kellen Moore was? Find Kamon Hall, if any of y'all even know who that is, and throw at him the entire game and see what happens.
Let me teach
A
you how
rookie
to
quarterback
vibe.
will have 333 yards passing if you just throw it Kamon Hall the whole game. So if we on cornerback number 10, why on earth are we thinking about right guard? You got $120 million in cap space, and somehow we're not thinking about getting cornerbacks to play football. Our number 1 cornerback is doing a drive-by shooting on crutches, allegedly shooting up a G-Wagon, and we're thinking about we traded all the rest of them off, and the rest of them are gone. All right, let's go back to the defense. Let's go back to the visual tool. Kevin Winston Jr., 3rd round draft pick out of Penn State, IR. Xavier Woods got another year on his contract, leads the team in the secondary interceptions. He's on IR. Mike Brown, IR. Kendall Brooks was working at Pizza Hut. He's starting at free safety right now. Who else do we got at safety? Micah Robinson, Eric Halleck, Sanusi Kane, and Jarek Reed. Do you even know? Like, bro, we're on number 7 safety. Just maybe, we need to spend some of that money that we got in cap space in the secondary, so every team that plays us won't bomb on us for 300 yards. I just need y'all to understand that the Tennessee Titans are going to have to draft a couple of DBs, and they're gonna have to spend some money at DB. You can't have your 10-string safety, your 10-string corners out there getting dunked on all. Like, do y'all not remember Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Cortland Sutton, Nico Collins? Like, every receiver, Jackson Smith and Jigba had his highest output of the season against. Everybody that plays us receiver just starts doing the Birdman hand rub because they're gonna get 100, 150 yards because we don't have DBs. But somehow, some way, I look in the comments every day and everybody's like, man, y'all need a right guard. Now, they put makeshift offensive linemen in when Cushenberry got hurt. They put Corey Levin at center. They just start rotating guys, Dellinger Moss, Blake Hance at right guard this year. And guess what? Tony Pollard goes 3 straight games with 100 yards playing musical chairs on the offensive line. It's more of a mentality for us to run the football and protect the quarterback and play calling than it is talent. I don't want to spend $20 million on a right guard. I want to extend Peter Skoronsky, right? The best lineman on the team that we drafted in the first round at left guard. I don't care who you put at right guard, but I do care who we have at defensive back. I do care who we have at edge rusher. Do you know who the edge rushers are? Let's go to the prop on edge rusher. There will be no Arden Key. Femi has been on IR since the Raiders game. You have Jeffrey Swimmons, T Sweat, Sebastian Joseph Day. Behind him, you got Cam Horsley and James Lynch. You got Ali Gay on IR. You got Truman Jones and Jalen Harrell rushing the passer with Jihad Ward. You traded Draymond Jones to the Ravens. Hopefully the Ravens beat the Steelers. That way we get a 4th round pick instead of the 5th in that trade. But how on earth are y'all thinking that we don't need to spend money at corner and edge, and somehow we need to spend all of our money at right guard? I'll be open to listen to this. I know I haven't read anybody's comments since I got on this little spiel, because this is what I'm very passionate about. I just don't understand how you could watch this team play and say Tyler Shuck can sit in the pocket for 10 seconds and pat the ball and throw the ball to Olave every play. And you could think we need to spend money at right guard first. All right, I'll calm down. I'm gonna get back into the I'm finna get back into the into the comments, but I had to stop for a second. And he said, "Don't tell me my dono ain't hit yet." Hold up. Yo, my dog DB with the $20 cash app dono.
Shotbybuddha Facebook gaming in the building.
Whew. Oh my God. Well, y'all got me spiced up today, but I've been tired of reading these comments. He said we gave up 55 sacks. A sack don't always mean that that an offensive lineman just whiffed. Do you think that those 55 sacks came from JC Latham getting hurt in the first week against the Broncos, putting John Ojukwu, who's since been cut, and throwing him in at right tackle, and then having Oli Udoh play right tackle, and then JC Latham coming back off of a hip flexor, and Max Crosby is the person he's blocking the first week back? You gotta think about, in the stretch of the sacks we gave up, we started with the Broncos, the Rams, the Colts, Texans. Like, that's your first 4 games. Of course you're gonna take sacks if your head coach gets fired and demoted to play calling, if your offensive line coach and run game coordinator walks out with his son the day that he gets fired. You have a quarterbacks coach calling the plays instead of your offensive coordinator, and you got a rookie quarterback with no wide receivers. Calvin really been out the whole season. Tyler Lockett walked off and said, "I quit." I mean, what do you have? Van Jefferson, Mason Kinsey back there, and you have Nick Holst and Bo Hardegree calling plays. Like, bro, most of Cam's sacks early in the season is him holding the ball, waiting on people to get open. Bad play calling. The Tennessee Titans was running the ball like 20 yards a game in a whole month stretch of home games. Now that they've been running the football, look at the offensive line, look at the play calling, look at Cam Ward and the team from bye week on. You don't see the sacks. You see 1 interception. You seen the sack fumble from Chase Young, was just a crazy play from an athletic defensive end. But outside of that, like, Cam hadn't been taking sacks. He got sacked 1 time in the Browns game versus with Myles Garrett. He didn't get sacked at all against the 49ers. And you seen their defense last night. It's not just all offensive line. I mean, you could say here's Van Jefferson and Mason Kinsey for a 3-game stretch playing receiver where we had offensive linemen running routes. It could be that. Could be there's nobody getting open. You might just take a sack because nobody's open. This Titans signed Chig Okonkwo. O-line can be better with a better scheme. There we go. I just think that if you have an offensive coordinator and a team that commits to running the football, there's no secret to the Patriots stop the run, they run the football, they play action. Drake May does not throw the ball 40 times a game. He's efficient. The same with the Chargers with what Jim Harbaugh did with Justin Herbert. You look at the teams, you look at the 49ers and Brock Purdy and Mac Jones. It didn't matter who was in. They're going to run the football. They're going to get the ball out hot. Everybody on the team going to touch the football. The scheme is good. You look at the teams that win football games. You look at the Rams. All these teams are balanced. You got to be able to run it. You got to be able to play action. You got to be able to screen it. And if you have all of those things together, then what do you have? Zay just said sent the 10 ball. He said the DC. I mean, Denard Wilson just ain't had much to work with. Yo, my dog Zay with the $10 cash app. Tono. Dragon stickers in the chat.
Shotbybuddha Facebook gaming in the building.
Rich say the Dallas Cowboys need a defensive coordinator. Quinnen Williams from Alabama deserves better. I translated that perfect, Rich. Yeah, y'all do need a better defensive coordinator. Who are the Dallas Cowboys getting a defensive coordinator? But 8-1. But it's just to say this, that like all the fans that are so hot off of right guard, the Tennessee Titans are going to do this in the offseason. Calvin Ridley is going to get cut June 1st. Will Levis is probably going to get traded when he comes back to camp. Mason Kinsey probably will not be a Tennessee Titan. I think they're better served just doing this. L'Jarius Sneed with his legal issues will be gone. Michael will be gone. Kendall Brooks will be gone. I think Ali Gay that's on IR. Truman Jones. I think these spots will open up. I think you bring Kevin Winston and Xavier Woods back next year. Femi will be back healthy next year. And I think the Titans go from here. So I don't see how a person could see this roster and think that the only cornerback that's going to be under contract next season is 6th round rookie Marcus Harris from California, who was a really good nickel before he got put on IR for the season. How could you possibly look at this roster, at this depth chart, and say the Titans are good at cornerback? Who is under contract? We have one cornerback under contract. The first 5 cornerbacks we started the season with are no longer in Nashville, but somehow, some way, our fan base thinks, nah, man, we good at corner, bro. They need to get a right guard. Bruh, it makes no sense. And when you look at the offense, they could easily extend Chig and bring Chig back. Gunnar Helm as tight end 1. David Martin Robinson would be your blocking tight end as tight end 3. Probably Crenshaw, Dixon, and Oli Udoh is probably your swing tackles. Corey Levin and Dellinger and Moss, you probably bring those guys back as interior depth. We started this year off with 11 offensive linemen under contract. Tony Pollard got a last year. Spears got a last year. Mullins is a rookie. I think Chestnut probably out of there. But I mean, how could you look at this roster and say, man, y'all don't need receiver, you need right guard? Bro, we need wide receiver, we need edge, and we need cornerback. Like I don't know where people are getting this thought process that we need to just blow all our wad on right guard, bro. I'm confused. Thing about Lockett is he went to a worse team, but he got to play though. I think once he seen Tim DK, they actually Lockett probably knew what we all knew, that the front office and the coaching staff didn't know. Put Tim DK in the game. He just broke Tim Brown's rookie record for all-purpose yards, a record that's been there since 1988. And for some of y'all that try to move the goalposts, it's been 37 years since somebody broke this record. So obviously the kid is good. He leads the team in receiving touchdowns, and he broke the all-time NFL rookie record for all-purpose yards. So when you put all that together, Tyler Lockett was like, y'all had Tim DK blocking bubble screens for Lockett. Once Lockett realized that they got Tim DK the ball, that his time was up, he asked to be released so he could go somewhere where he would actually get on the field. Tennessee Titans have definitely got to spend some of that cap at edge. They definitely got to spend some of that cap at corner. I mean, a good bit of it. And just because it didn't work before don't mean you don't try it again. But please, this time, don't get anybody that has a pre-existing injury history that's pretty bad. Now, of course, in this receiver department, probably Romeo Doubs and Alec Pierce are probably the two names that you'll hear the most for the Tennessee Titans. I wouldn't be mad at Romeo Doubs. I wouldn't want to give $20-25 million to Alec Pierce. I don't think he'll be wide receiver 1. He'll be good on our team, but I don't want to spend that kind of cap there. I'd rather go in the draft. I'd rather get more depth pieces. I'd rather bring Chig back. If you was gonna spend money at right guard, I just don't see how you get Wyatt Teller to leave the Browns, a 3-win team, to come to the Titans, another 3-win team. I think he want to go to a competitor being 31, 32 years old. This is gonna be the last contract of his career, more than likely. I just don't see that. And then on this end, the Tennessee Titans, you know, you got Jalen Phillips, you got Kayvon Thibodeau, you got Adolfo Way, you got Boy Mafe. You're gonna have some edge rushers that's gonna be out there that maybe you can convince with a paycheck. You got Tariq Woolen, you got Alontae Taylor, you got Jalen Watson. It's gonna be some DBs that's gonna be open. I think the experiment with Amar Davis and the experiment with Kamon Hall, the experiment, I don't know if they've seen enough from Kerry Elam and Baker Jr. that you might want to make those guys cornerbacks 5 and 6, but you definitely got to go to the draft and free agency and get some starting level edge and cornerbacks. I just don't understand this. Can y'all enlighten me? Can y'all tell me why somebody actually wants to spend $15-20 million on Elijah Vera Tucker or Evan Neal or somebody to play right guard, to come from the Jets or the Giants to come play right guard when you have like 3 right guards on the team already with Moss, Blake Hans, and Dellinger and Jackson Slater? Why wouldn't you just take your 5th round draft pick Jackson Slater and put him at right guard next year and bring Corey Levin, Udo, and Crenshaw Dixon back? That's what I would do. You say you agree with Rich that I ain't ish. Don't be mad at me because your New York Giants could have lost like I told y'all to. Y'all would have had the number 1 pick. Instead, the Raiders can lose to the Chiefs and get the number 1 pick. It's not my fault. Kinsey made a catch. That was people slept on that throw from Cam throwing the ball over Alontae Taylor's shoulder with his back turned. Big Jeff, Dre, Robert, you still haven't seen Micah? Yes, you did. Micah was the one who on the punt didn't down the punt correctly and gave them the ball at the 20 instead of on the 1. But I mean, think about it. They got Micah listed as a safety, so they don't even have him listed as a corner no more. So that should tell you what you need to know. If they put Kyrie Elam, Kamon Hall, Amar Davis, and Baker Jr. out there before Micah, that should tell you where Micah is. Right? Right, Dre? Just think about it. They did do that 2 years in a row, Nano. You here for rage games? Ain't gonna be no rage games. We here to talk about we here to talk about why the Tennessee Titans need to spend their money on edge and corner instead of, you know, the foolish Titan fan base that thinks that we need to blow. Now, if you saying that you're gonna groom Jackson Slater to be the center behind Lloyd Cushenberry, and you can convince Wyatt Teller to leave a 3-win team to come to another 3-win team when the running backs in Cleveland are more explosive than the running backs in Tennessee. If you getting Wyatt Teller, I'll shut up. If you ain't getting Wyatt Teller, I ain't shutting up. I'm saying the fact still remains that the Tennessee Titans are better served. And if you're gonna spend money at wide receiver, I think Doubs is about the only one that I'd get. He's that dunk frame, that 6'2", 200-pound frame type of guy. I don't think George Pickens is leaving Dallas. I mean, he had a better output than CeeDee Lamb and DK Metcalf this year. I don't think he's better than CeeDee Lamb, but I mean, you can't deny top 3 receiver stat wise in the league this year with George Pickens is. He's not leaving Dallas. So, you know, if you're the Tennessee Titans, you got to try to spend some of that cap space at edge and corner. If you do get a receiver that you like, then you have to go in that direction. Tony Pollard and Tajay on their last years. I mean, if you was gonna move Tony Pollard and bring in like a Breece Hall or something, I wouldn't be mad at that. But I just don't see guys leaving bad situations to come to another bad situations. These guys want to leave and play for contenders. Best case scenario for the Titans right now, honestly, would be bring Chig back as the move tight end, keep DMR, keep him as a blocking tight end, and draft in the later rounds like a Lawson Lucky or Joe Royer, like one of the big physical 240, 250 pound tight ends to go with him. I think you could get Chig back at a pretty cheap price. And then he's one of the Chig, Peter Skoronski, Tajay Spears in the last in that stretch of John Robinson through Rand is probably the only guys that have a future still being of those like 29 players that was drafted. Only like 4 or 5 of them are still around. I don't think Spears lasts. I don't think that they keep Spears in the future or Pollard past next year. But you know, you got to start building. And if I'm the Tennessee Titans, the only probably receiver that I would throw, and it's a big stretch too, and he's got to want to come there, is Romeo Doubs, giving you more depth. Van Jefferson out for the year. Who knows at like going into his 30s, what space that he'll be in next year. So if I'm the Titans, I would probably bring in one free agent receiver. I'd leave Strep. I'll have DK, Almana, and Strep, and then I might take a shot at one. And you know, if you could get a Breece Hall or something, but I doubt it. I doubt he'll leave the Jets to come to the Titans. And then at edge, you know, Jalen Phillips, Adafioye, Boy Mafe, Kayvon Thibodeau. You know, you can't get one of those guys with throwing a bunch of money in their direction with Femi coming back, and then you able to try to play best player available. Dream scenario would be Reek Woolen, would be Alontae Taylor. I don't think Alontae Taylor is leaving the Saints because they traded Lattimore. I don't foresee Tariq Woolen leaving the Seahawks. But you know, if we offered, you know, 15-20 million, he might pack his bags. But the Tennessee Titans, you know, you probably bring Baker Jr. back. I think Baker Jr. is probably been like, out of all the journeyman DBs we've had, and then like if you can bring him back cheap, maybe Elam, you might have these guys as like cornerbacks 4 through 6, and you go in free agency and add somebody, or you go in the draft and draft a couple DBs. I just don't see a world where the Titan fan base thinks that we're okay at corner, bro. This is just goofy. Tony Pollard is going to be a Titan next year. He's under contract. If they cut him, it's only $2 million to cut. The Raiders lose Sunday. They got the number 1 pick. Said people need to get Pickens. I mean, I've been telling them that for the longest point, that George Pickens is not leaving Dallas. So I mean, if you look at where they're at, the Titans are gonna have to win and build through the draft. And the thing about it is, you would love, like, right? You would love the Titans to be able to bring in Tariq Woolen, and you know, there's Alontae Taylor, there's Jalen Watson. It's gonna be, you know, several guys that are gonna be, you know, around like Titan. You know, if the Titans was to do something like that, Tariq Woolen, Josh Williams, bring back Baker Jr., Elam, Marcus Harris back at nickel, and then draft 2 DBs. And I'm talking about, like, I like Chris Johnson out of San Diego State. I like Dalen Everett out of Georgia. I like AJ Harris out of Penn State. some guys that could be like, second, third, fourth round type of guys that could be around. If you talk about adding in, guys like that mixed in with this rotation, you got to add talent, and the Titans got plenty of money to go after these type of guys. If you talk about trying to get a guy like Kayvon Thibodeau, 6'5", 260, to go opposite of Femi, you bring Jihad Ward back as a rotational piece with Jalen Harrell, another draft pick out of Michigan we had a few years ago, a 7th round guy that been playing a lot lately. Arden Key is out. Draymond Jones has already been traded. You probably bring back, Sebastian Joseph Day, Cam Horsley. I don't know. Shot Tuttle's already been waived. James Lynch has always been a good interior guy at backup. Maybe in that 5th or 6th round, if you got a Tim Keenan or somebody like that laying around, you might want to add to that rotation. That might be somewhere that they go in free agency along the defensive line. But if you came back next year and you said you had something that more looked like this, Denard Wilson never got to coach nothing like this. But whoever they bring in, a head coach that brings in a DC, if they get rid of Denard, if you telling me you coming back with this next year, Mousy probably's gone. You probably draft maybe a Perkins out of LSU in the later rounds or somebody like that. Or if Jacob Rodriguez fall, maybe you add in like this, because Cody Barton still got another year. Cedric Gray will be on year 3. James Williams will be on year 3. They should be getting more time and split in that situation. I really think they should groom James Williams behind Cody Barton, because Cedric Gray is the starter, and that would be the natural order of fit. But if you gave me something like this with the money, all the guys that's out there telling me that you need to spend all your money on right guard first before you went and tried to get a Kayvon Thibodeau, a Tariq Woolen, Josh Williams, brought back your best practice squad DBs that played this year with the most talent. If you wasn't trying to do something like that and on offense, like if you was trying to add Romeo Doubs to the mix and still gonna draft 2 receivers, maybe like a Chris Brazel and Zachariah Branch out of Georgia, I think Nick Harbor's stock is gonna go up as he does. He's gonna run a 4.2 at 6'5" in combine. He's gonna boost his stock. Some of the dunkers that are Horton from Alabama, you're gonna have some guys, CJ Daniels. You can have some guys that are 6'3", 6'4", Nick Anderson at LSU. You can have some dunker type of frames that wind up falling in the rounds. How we got A.O. Monner and DK in the 4th round last year. But Zachariah Branch is a guy I got my eyes on. A lot of people like Makai Lemon. A lot of people like KC Concepcion. But I think for the value, if you was to get Zachariah Branch in the 3rd, I think that he'll be every bit as good as those 2 guys I named. To add some twitch to the lineup that the Tennessee Titans need. How many draft picks do we have? Right now in the draft, we're gonna have, if the Titans lose Sunday, which I already did that in my other post, to show y'all how to, we can pull that up. You know what I'm saying? We can pull that up. I got a mock draft simulator sitting up there, but if y'all don't follow my Facebook, I make daily football posts and content for y'all to check out. But from this post though, the shout out to the Giants. They're dumb. They won against the Raiders. So the Raiders, if the Raiders play the Chiefs at home, if they lose on purpose, they get the number 1 seed. If the Raiders beat the Chiefs and the Giants, Jets, Titans, and Cardinals lose, you could have the entire top row all have the same record, and then it goes to strength of schedule, not head to head. So you got Jets at Bills. Bills need that game. They're going to lose. Commanders at Eagles. Commanders are going to lose that game. Titans at Jags. I want them to play good. I don't think they beat the Jags with the division on the line last game of the season. Cardinals at Rams. Rams are definitely winning, and Browns at Bengals is a toss-up game, seeing as the Browns just beat the Steelers and they got a defense and a run game. So, you know, Browns could play themselves out of the top 5, and then the Giants and the Cowboys still have a meaningful game. They could keep from having a losing season by beating the Giants, but also that would push the Giants up into a top, probably push the Giants into a top 3 pick.
Let me teach you how to
vibe. So if you're looking at this for the way it runs out, you know, you got the Giants, Jets, Titans, Cardinals, and all at the same record. But I expect the Commanders to lose, and I expect the Browns are in a toss-up game. The Browns probably have the most winnable game of all the teams playing. But Titans probably gonna have a top 5 pick to answer your question, and then the Titans are gonna have a 2nd round pick, a 3rd. If the Ravens make the playoffs, we'll have 2 4ths. If the Ravens don't make the playoffs, we'll have a 4th, 2 5ths, 2 6ths, and a 7th. And then you still got Will Levis, Xavier Woods, Tony Pollard. They could potentially trade. I don't see a world where they can trade L'Jarius Sneed with this situation, or that they could trade Calvin Ridley because he's due $28 million next year. I don't see anybody taking on $28 million to take Ridley next year. So when you put those into perspective, and you really think about it, Tennessee Titans are going to have a lot of draft capital. Even better if the Ravens make the playoffs, considering what the Titans did in the 4th round last year, getting Chim DK, Gunnar Helm, and A.O. Monner all in the 4th round. Titans 4th round has been good to them. I want to say Byard was a 4th rounder. I want to say Hook was around the 4th round. Chig was the last pick in the 4th round. Titans have done good in the 4th round over the years. So when we get into that 4th round for the Tennessee Titans, I just think that they have a great chance to build their team. That's why I just don't understand this logic behind the first place that you want to go in free agency is right guard. I'm just confused on that. I just think you need to bring back Chig at that move, tight end. Gunnar Helm is your tight end 1. And then you got to start thinking about, I don't want to spend $25 million on Alec Pierce though. You know, if we spend 10 or 15 million on Romeo Doubs, I ain't mad at that. But I don't think either one of those guys is the wide receiver 1 for the future. And that's the type of money you spend on a guy like that. And I just don't think so. I think you got to go to the draft. I like Zachariah Branch. I like Denzel Boston. I like Chris Brazil in Tennessee. It's some guys I like out there that the Titans can go after in the draft that would help. He said sign a Giants player. I mean, if they sign Kayvon Thibodeau to the Titans, I would be more than happy to look and see Kayvon Thibodeau and Femi Oladejo play the edge with Jeffrey Simmons and T Sweat in the middle, and then the Titans could play best player available. Trade. I still want them to trade back if they can get more capital. I still think the Titans could add an edge rusher like a TJ Parker or Zion Young or Dennis Sutton from Penn State. You don't have to go for the top guy to get production. When you look at Max Crosby was a 4th rounder. You look at some of the best guys in the league weren't those top 5, top 10 picks. James Pierce Jr. for the Falcons, double-digit sacks as a rookie. He wasn't the Abdul Carter pick. Sometimes you just look back and get the best overall talent to fit your scheme. I think the Titans could add much more by approaching the draft that way. In the 5th and 6th round, if you had like a Michael Taft, Zakee Wheatley, it's some safeties that I like that they could get to play in that role where we've been having all these rotational pieces that Kevin Winston, Xavier Woods, Hook, and, you know, a late round safety, kind of the way Monty Hooker was for us when we had Byard, you know, a young guy that could be a rotational piece that they can wind up developing. Same with linebacker. But far as edge, if they got the money, if you could do something like this, it just relieves the pressure of trying to force feed, saying if you're in the top 5 and Arvell Reese, who will be another project the same way Femi was a stand-up linebacker, you'd be putting at edge the same way that you would be with, Keldrick Falk still developing. He's got that bigger frame, pause. And then, Ruben Bain, a lot of people down on him about his arm size, but I mean, if it don't force feed you to have to pick one of those guys you could trade back or you could go a different direction instead of just feeling like you stuck if you do well in free agency and make the defense look something like that, to where the guys you adding is guys of the future. Kind of how Marcus Harris was halfway through the season. He came in and wound up being the best cornerback on the team after all the trades. And then when you look at offensive line, if you're telling me Wyatt Teller is out there, I ain't mad if they spend the money. But there's also another thing that I looked at that would be crazy. You know, I think he'd be worth a second and a sixth if you traded a future second and you traded that extra 6th round that Jarvis Brownlee Jr. Trade was, or the Kenneth Murray trade. If you took that extra 6th, what if the Titans did this? What if the Titans traded a second and a 6th, or they sent Calvin Ridley in a package with some extra draft picks that they picked up from these trades that they made? What if you put Max Crosby? What if you put Max Crosby in? What if you did that? What if you made that trade and did that? How crazy would that be? Max Crosby, T Sweat, Jeff Simmons, and Femi Oladejo. You still draft a later round guy. Some of the same guys I'm mentioning, Zion Young or Dennis Sutton. But what if you did that? What if you boosted and you could pay him? You got the money to do it. What if you made your defense look like that? It's a lot of different options the Titans got. But as they sit right now, me resulting this back to how it actually currently looks,
Let me teach you how to
Tennessee
bow.
Titans have a lot of holes on defense, and as it currently sits, they're gonna have a lot of holes on offense. But if Will Levis comes back healthy in camp and can show that he's 100%, Will Levis could turn into a good draft pick for the Tennessee Titans. He's the first pick in the 2nd round that Rand took in 23. You know, he's got all the physical tools. Malik Willis has been the best launch pad for Will Levis that you could possibly have, to see that Mike Vrabel left the Titans. Look where the Patriots at. Malik Willis left the Titans. Look where he's at. The agents and for the Tennessee Titans, Mike Bergonzi, Chad Brinker should be sitting there saying, hey, look, the people that was here before didn't know what they was doing. We put in this situation. The kid went under surgery. He didn't get to develop under us, but he could go do what Malik Willis did, has been doing for the Green Bay Packers for somebody. And you could get, you know, if you got an extra, I don't think you get a 3rd, maybe a low 4th or 5th, potentially at worst, maybe a 6th round extra pick for Will Levis. You know, that's more of a situation of adding more trade value for the Tennessee Titans. But if I'm the Tennessee Titans, if there's Trey Hendrickson out there, or I could trade for Max Crosby, I would definitely do that if it's off the table of a Jalen Phillips or Kayvon Thibodeau type of talent in free agency to help this team. This team has so many holes, but they got the most cap space and a lot of draft picks. And, you know, Mike Bergonzi's first trip to the rodeo was Cam Ward. It was Femi Oladejo. It was Kevin Winston Jr. It was record-breaking Pro Bowler Chim DK. It was Gunnar Helm. It was Alec Aomaner. It was Jackson Slater. It was Marcus Harris, who's going to be our starting nickel when he comes back next year. And then it was Khalil Mullins, short yardage back, who's been effective since they started getting him a little spin the last couple of weeks. He said, call up the Vikings. Yo, Vincent Rivers, the God, Steelers, Ravens Sunday will be a movie. I will be in there. I don't think they should go after RVL because he's another Femi. I said that and people came after me, but that's a hot take, bro. Like, people didn't like that Femi was a stand-up linebacker that was converted to edge, 6'3", 260, that is an incredible athlete. When you see him, if you see him walk through the facility, like you see him on tape, like the dude is huge, pause. But people didn't like that he played stand-up linebacker and was moved to edge and just looked like a freakish athlete. He started coming on, having multiple games with tackles for loss and starting to get some sacks, and then he got hurt in the Raiders game. But I think he'll be good. But I think the same would be with Arvell Reese if you threw him on our defense. It would take him enough. It would probably take him half a season to adjust to where he'd be a good future pick. But I think the Tennessee Titans, if I would say like Keldrick Falk could wind up being better than Arvell Reese and Ruben Bain. Some of the guys that are going to be picked at the bottom end of the first round and at the top of the second at edge, LT Overton with his size, and then R. Thomas, Cassius Howell, David Bailey. It's gonna be some guys, TJ Parker. It's gonna be some guys that people ain't talking about that's gonna wind up being good edge rushers for teams. I just think if you're the Titans, if you get a chance to trade and get a Max Crosby, or if you was able to sign Trey Hendrickson, or you was able to pick up Kayvon Thibodeau and then relieve the pressure to where you could go after a Zion Young or Dennis Sutton in the later rounds and spend your higher value picks on DB wide receiver without having to just throw a top pick at Maui Goa or Fanu or Caden Proctor, one of the offensive linemen. If you could go that route, I think the Titans could shore their team up and still have cap space, because cap space doesn't expire, it rolls over to the next year. So if you extend Jeffrey Simmons and Peter Skoronski and Chig Okonkwo, and you still was assigned a couple of those pieces, you still got money that would roll over. So if teams next year decided that they were going to cut or trade pieces, you would be in a position to get them next year and future, because Tajay Spears is on the last year of his contract. Tony Pollard will be on the last year of his contract with hardly any guaranteed money. And then you have on the other side of the ball, Arden Key will be off the books. And then you'll have L'Jarius Sneed, who will be off the books. All the corners will be off the books. You'll be able to, like, Xavier Woods will have 1 year left at $4 million. You'll be able to trade or move any of these pieces. Cody Barton's deal will be almost up. You just extend your hook. They'll put themselves in a position to where they'll be able to go after some guys. They'll have cap space open to trade. They'll have extra draft picks that they can move around. I think the Titans are in a good position. But first things first, Titans must get their head coaching hire right. When you look at Ben Johnson and you look at what Kellen Moore has been able to do the second half of the season, you look at some of these coaches, man, you got to really get that coaching situation right. And the Titans still have a lot of pieces that they can move or trade. If they decided to play the long game, let's say L'Jarius Sneed got exonerated of all his charges and they waited, and there's a way that next year he starts the year off healthy, you could still move him. Same with Calvin Ridley. You could wait. You can let him come back healthy and start the season off and show that he's healthy. You can move him. Same with Tony Pollard. You be moving Tony Pollard and somebody be taking him with all his guaranteed money off. So, somebody be taking an expiring contract to get a solid running back for the rest of the year. There's the same with Will Levis. They'll be able to, if he comes back healthy, Will Levis will be somebody that the Titans can move to get draft capital. They have a lot of options that they have, and I like what Berganza has been able to do. Berganza has made some good moves in my opinion. And now that I've kind of gotten off my slide, I really want to really get into why I thought the Tennessee Titans' first thought process should not be right guard. They did that last year with Ziegler. They spent almost $10 million on him, and just getting a veteran guard sounds cool until you realize, like, sometimes it's about scheme and coaching and attitude, that you could get the same thing out of Corey Levin and Jackson Slater and Moss and Hans and Dellinger. You could get the same thing out of them at right guard as you would get out of anybody outside of probably Wyatt Teller, as long as you're running the right schemes. Because you look at the Eagles offensive line, you look at the 49ers offensive line, most of the good teams draft their O-line. They do. And you'll go look and see Mailata is a 7th round pick. You go look at some 4th and 5th and 6th round picks that just developed into the guys because they had the right scheme and they had the right identity, which is they're going to run the ball. They're going to let them fire off the ball. They're going to play action it. They're going to screen it well. and they got an offensive coordinator that's going to dial up open looks to where the quarterback ain't sitting back there waiting on somebody to get open. Because Brian Callahan's route combinations had to be some of the worst looking route combos I've ever seen. What he dialed up for Cam Ward early in his career, that was having him look bad and getting him killed. That's all I wanted to really talk about. If y'all got any questions, man, I'm fair game. I wanted to do this stream. The family's out spending their gift cards and shopping, so I was like, this will be a perfect time for me to do some daytime action. I can be loud, I can be boisterous, I can, I can kind of be to where I want to be, and then also we could do a mock draft on the way out while y'all asking questions. I mean, right now, the way that PFF got this sits, we can look at the trade offers. The Raiders take Dante Moore, Jets take Fernando Mendoza, Saints go Keldrick Falk. That's realistic. The Tennessee Titans have been projected to pick 4th or 5th in most estimations. If the Titans were getting an offer like this, the Lions offering 15-50, a second and a third next year. The Ravens are offering 16-47, a second and a fourth next year. I feel like the Titans would have to truly look at some of those offers because, they would have their choice. Do you want Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson, Jeremiah Love? You do have your chance to say Arvell Reese, Reuben Baines, Caleb Downs, Mansour Delane, Peter Woods, Jamal McCoy. You could pretty much take the best corner off the board, the best edge off the board. You could take the best safety off the board. Like the Titans would have their pick. They would have their pick on offense, taking the best wide receiver, the best running back, the best offensive tackle. If they decided to go O-line, Titans would be able to do pretty much anything. But I'm telling y'all, unless they are completely sold on, one of these receivers or one of these linemen or one of these edge guys, unless they completely sold, the Titans got to really go look at the offers that they might be giving, which these are more realistic offers, like a first and a second to trade back, 5 or 10 spots. The Titans would have to really think about that because their goal was to have double-digit top 100 picks in the first 3 years. And when you look back at the Titans drafts and see like how they've picked year one and how they will be picking in the future, like they could solidify something like that. Like let's say the Ravens make the playoffs and you got 2 fourths, a fifth, 2 6, a 7th, a third, second, and you picking 4th on top of the guys that they still have available to trade pre-draft process. Titans could have a lot of draft picks, and if you're not sold, saying that, hey man, Carnell Tate and Jordan Tyson will be nice, but I don't think it's a big difference between us getting Concepcion, Denzel Boston, Chris Bell, or whoever else is down here, then you got to trade back. You got to say the same thing. If they were going to go offensive lineman, trading back, you still get your pick at one of the top offensive linemen. If you're going at edge, I think it's a little different. But you be saying, I'll be looking at one of these guys, LT Overton, TJ Parker, or David Bailey. You got to be thinking in this range and saying, but if you could fill some of these holes in free agency, if you would trade him back and there's Delane and Jamal McCoy, Avion Terrell, Colton Hood, which will be your first round corners. And, if one of these guys is sitting out there, like, would you trade back and go that direction? If it's going to give you another let's say top 50 pick, and that top 50 pick would be that top 50 pick. Well, where's my, I hate when my scroll gets like this. Like I gotta reset my mouse. My mouse like scrolls so dumb sometimes. But when you get into the 50s, it say like R. Mason Thomas, Will Lee, Emmanuel Pregnon, and Basantis, the 2 guards I like in the draft. Cassius Howell, a Chris Brazel. Like you start looking around the guys around 50, like if you trade him back to say to pick up an extra guy like that would be the same as last year. The Titans traded out of the Luther Burden spot, which is cringy because Luther Burden's really good, but they traded back and got Femi and Kevin Winston. So them not taking Luther Burden meant you got Femi and Kevin Winston. Do they put themselves in the same position to do that again? That there's a Jeremy Bernard or somebody sitting around, and you trade back and you get a corner and an edge, or a corner and a, like if you added Emmanuel Pregnon right here and Chris Johnson for trading back, you know, you getting a starting corner and a starting offensive guard. If you was to do something like that, I think they gotta look at all possibilities in this draft when it comes to trade offers, or when it comes to them overall just trying to add talent to a roster that's depleted of talent. Cause they have to add talent at every level of this football team. Educated Southern Po Negro Pinky. Malik Willis ball for y'all Sunday. Whoever wants Malik better come with the first one. He was a 3rd round pick. I could see y'all maybe getting a 4th or a 5th if y'all got him under contract. I don't know if he's under contract though. Do you think the Steelers are going to consider that club option in 27? Why y'all in such a dead set to get rid of Mike Tomlin? If y'all get rid of Mike Tomlin will be the first coach on everybody's list. If the Ravens get rid of John Harbaugh, he'll be the first coach on everybody's list. Like, why are y'all hell bent on getting rid of Mike Tomlin? I just don't understand it. Like, I get it, but I mean, Arthur Smith, what's the guy y'all had? Canada. Y'all had some pretty bad. Y'all had some pretty bad OCs. Let me see what Malik Willis' contract looks like. No, Malik Willis will be a free agent. Y'all haven't taken any kind of option on him. Malik Willis will be a free agent, or unrestricted free agent next year. So y'all ain't finna get in. Yeah, I didn't know if the Packers gave him some kind of extension or something early when he played well for them last year or not. That's what I couldn't remember. But yeah, Malik Willis has made himself some money. He hasn't made nothing for y'all. I mean, y'all gotta make up y'all mind. Like, y'all going to veteran QB to veteran QB to veteran QB. Like, at some point, y'all are gonna have to build a QB and build an identity of what y'all want the future of y'all team to look like. This whole thought process of just putting vets in. At some point, you need, because you knew that Aaron Rodgers was not gonna be around past the season. So it's like, y'all got to make up y'all mind on, the front office got to make up their mind more so than Mike Tomlin. That's what's up, Loaf. No explanations needed, man. I just be happy to see y'all when I see y'all in the shop. But in this mock, you know, I'm all for the Titans. If they believe in Arvell Reese or Ruben Bain, pull the trigger. If they believe in Carnell Taylor, Jordan Tyson, pull the trigger. If they believe in one of these offensive linemen, if they believe in one of these corners, but if you got a top 5 pick, the only position I think the Titans can afford to burn a top 5 pick at is, to be honest, to be fair, I know a lot of people might disagree, but if you're going to burn an offensive tackle or a defensive edge, I think it's the only way you burn a top 5 pick. I think you got to trade. If you're thinking wide receiver, cornerback, offensive guard, running back, if you're thinking anything outside of those, I think you got to trade back. If Keldrick Falk, Arvell Reese, or Ruben Bain is there and you dead set on them, take them. If you done the work and you say, man, Lomu, Maui Goa, Fanu or Proctor is the tackle of the future, take him. If you think you never taking another, we not taking no more guards in the first round. But you know, if you think one of those guys is there, but if you look and say, man, I really like Jeremiah Smith, I'd take him in a heartbeat at 4, but not Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson, then don't do it. Trade back, take one of these offers that's gonna be there. Pick up an extra second round pick. Do what we did last year. Trade back 10 spots and pick up that extra second round pick, because it's gonna be so valuable. It's gonna be so valuable to think that based on what they got here, when you get back around and you saying that like Keith Abney or TJ Parker or Brandon Sis, Trevor Gooseby, Anthony Hill Jr., LT Overton, McNeil Warren, Washington, Basantis, who's the offensive guard that I really like, Jeremy Bernard, like it's gonna be a lot of good you make up your team in the second, third, fourth, and fifth rounds when you're going to drafting. When you look at this past year, all the good players that get picked in the second, third, and fourth, fifth rounds, that's where you make up the meat of your team. If you're the Titans and you just not sold on the player that you want in their top 5 pick, you got to trade back and load up. We got too many holes to be reaching on anybody. He said Gary, Nixon, Valentine need to go. We need corners next year. Valentine got kind of abused a little bit, but Kayshawn Nixon is good. I like him. I like Kayshawn Nixon, bro. He said, I literally told people Will Howard should have played instead of Mason Rudolph. I was surprised that y'all didn't give Will Howard spin instead of Mason Rudolph. Just because you spent money on a free agent don't mean that you shouldn't give your young guy some spin. If the Colts don't make the playoffs, they're going to wish that they would have gave Riley Leonard some real burn instead of bringing Phillip Rivers back. Like, I get it, but, you know, the last ride type of thing, the connection he had with Shane Steichen, but why draft a QB if you're not going to try to build him for the future? If you're just trying to make the playoffs, if that's all you're going to get. And Daniel Jones is down, you know, like, roll with your young guy and see if he can't turn it around. If he's got to be able to get you one win. Stock with y'all, but I mean, y'all don't got him under contract though, Pinky. Y'all don't got Willis under contract. Willis gonna get some money, but y'all ain't gonna get nothing for him leaving. Why did y'all re-sign him? Because y'all was just trying to give y'allself another option. If y'all wasn't able to come to agreement with Aaron Rodgers, you would have had Mason Rudolph and whoever y'all drafted. But y'all got to make up a decision. Like, y'all are doing what the Falcons is doing now. Like, they got Michael Penix, but he hurt. Then they got Kirk Cousins. They never got rid of him. And then it's like next year coming back, you know, what do you do again? Like, do you go with Kirk Cousins or you go with Michael Penix? Like, it's like the rubber and the road got to meet at a team choosing what they want to do with the direction of their team. But it's gonna be interesting to see how Bergonzi plays this draft. And it also depends on how the teams finish. You know, the Titans should have a top 5 pick. Even if they win the game, even if the Titans win, they'll be even with Washington and Cleveland. So, you know, they will be between the 5th and 6th pick. I don't see the Jets beating the Bills. The Giants could beat the Cowboys. But it would be crazy if the Giants beat the Raiders and the Cowboys and then play themselves out of the top 5. I don't expect the Raiders to beat the Chiefs and play themselves out of the number 1 pick. If they just lose, it's theirs. Knowing they need a quarterback, that'll be the craziest thing ever. You've already shut down Max Crosby. I don't see a world where the Raiders try to win Sunday. If the Raiders are dumb and they beat Kansas City, and then the Jets, think about the Jets. If the Jets was able to get the number 1 pick and have 2 first rounders on top of that, like, the Jets would be able to absolutely clean house. They would get to their pick at QB, and then they'd have 2 other first round draft picks one from, and they be able to they be able to pretty much take their pick at where they want to go. You know, Dallas will have a top 15 pick, and they got another first round pick. Depending on what the Falcons do last week, the Rams could potentially have it. Like, let's say the Falcons lose and the Bengals beat the Browns. Falcons will have a top. I mean, the Rams will have a top 10 pick. It's gonna be interesting to see how this all plays out, though. Who gets the best pick, because it doesn't go head to head. If they're tied, it goes strength of schedule. Titans got the highest strength of schedule of all the teams that they're even with, so the Titans are going to be at the back of the line. So I'm just ready to see it. I'm ready to see it, chat. Who is going to be? The Raiders will probably have the number 1 pick. How the top 5 is going to end up. If the Titans going to be able to trade more pieces, i.e. Will Levis, Tony Pollard, L'Jarius Sneed, Calvin Ridley, Xavier Woods. There's going to be some guys that they can move this coming off season if they so choose. Are they going to bring Chig back? Chig led the Tennessee Titans in receptions and yards this season. And over the time that he's been with the Titans, he's as active players, nobody has more receptions and yards than Chig Okonkwo. So to see what they do, to see the moves that they make, it's gonna be interesting. Appreciate y'all tapping in. There will be a late night stream. If y'all follow me on Kick, Shotbybuddha, or Twitch, Shotbybuddha FB, we'll be live for some more action. Follow me on YouTube. This shop talk will be broken down and uploaded on YouTube for y'all to be able to watch it back. Please like, comment, subscribe, engage. If y'all have any mailbag questions, make sure y'all drop them in the comments of my YouTube videos. I'll turn those into other videos, like I did the one about the MVP. Man, today was the first time I seen this in a while, but that Impulse with the $5 Cash App, DB with the $20 Cash App, Deacon Loafing with the $4 Cash App, and Zay with the $10 Cash App. Y'all came in showing love today, and it's to be appreciated. So if y'all got any mailbag questions, drop them on the YouTube videos, and I'm gonna answer Deacon Loafing before I get out of here. Say, I gotta ask how you feel about the DK situation. I know DK shouldn't have reacted the way he did, but this fans. But I mean, just don't go over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, it's like me. Let's say I was on a sponsor stream and somebody paid me to do a stream, and somebody was trolling me in the chat, and I started cussing them out. Like, bro, you just don't do that. Like, you go get security and you tell security. I mean, come on, I'm from Alabama. Somebody called me the N-word. Hey, security, go get dude up out of there. Have a blessed day. He need to do the Shotbybuddha. DK Metcalf, if you listening, when Shotbybuddha have a troll and somebody call me stupid or talk about my family or dog me out and tell me to stick to video games, even though my content, like, don't even have a lot of video games anymore at times of the year. It's more just regular content. Like, bro, just tell them to have a blessed day. You save yourself a lot of money. You won't cost your team a trip to the playoffs. You won't cost yourself $500,000. Just tell them to have a blessed day. If they make you mad, or you swing on them, or you get upset, or you get mad, you giving them what they want. You giving them the attention they want. You giving them the energy. We wouldn't even know that guy. We would know DK Metcalf. All right. But that's all I got, man. God first in the chat. I appreciate y'all, man. And we out. Pop back out tonight for the latest stream. If you don't, check YouTube. The upload will be up